I am obviously not at the baseball stadium today. So I am in the midst of the weirdest season of baseball in my lifetime. I've been doing minor league baseball. I think this was going to be my 17th year, my 17th open day working in baseball. And obviously nothing like this, but I have, I'm just going to show all this. This is my favorite glass. Normally it has wine in it, but during the daytime, I just want to make sure you see this is my Wegmans fuzzy water that I'm putting in this. So I'm not drinking straight vodka in the afternoon while we're having these things, but I love this glass. So as I fill up apparently this glass will also hold an entire bottle of wine. I'm going to find that out one of these days. I haven't done it yet, but this is 12 ounces of sparkling water. So I don't know. We'll find out. So, it's a strange year. It's the year of COVID-19. So what I'm going to do is kind of talk about how we got here. Talk about our first season, last season that we had with the New York Mets on the field. Talk about the great off season we had going up until we were shut down by the coronavirus. Kind of where we're at. So I call this the longest rain delay in the history of baseball, because that's what we are used to. We're used to a little bit of a rain delay. We lose one game, maybe you lose two in a row, but we've never lost the month of April, the month of May, and here we are on June 9th, still waiting out this rain delay. So obviously everybody on this call is probably pretty familiar with the Syracuse Chiefs. I always like to wrap up the history of the Syracuse Chiefs because some people get interested to hear some of the little tidbits that I've learned over the years. And that, the history of Syracuse baseball, not the Syracuse Chiefs, goes back to 1876 with the Syracuse Stars. At one point, we were in Major League Baseball. We've been around so long that the New York Mets were affiliated with us in 1962, the first year of the New York Mets. So a vast history of Syracuse baseball, from the Stars to the Chiefs in 1934, to the community ownership in 1961, to the Sky Chiefs, back to the Chiefs again, to selling to the New York Mets, to the Syracuse Mets. So from 1876 to 2020, we're definitely one of the longest, oldest running sporting businesses in the community, and we've been here for many, many, many years. So we made that transition. So back in 2013, there was some troubles with the team. You'll hear my dog Sanders barking in the background. He's not my dog. So it's that old joke, does your dog bite? And you say no, and then the guy gets bit by the dog, and he says, I thought you said your dog does not bite. That's my dog. It's not my dog, but my dog barks as well and bites. So stay away from Sanders and my dog. We're just babysitting Sanders. So a couple tumultuous years back in 2012, 2013, the board of directors made some changes. I ended up coming back into baseball in late 2013 in preparation for the 2014 season, and have been here ever since. And we've heard kind of those stories about how we've changed the culture of the Chiefs, and got more minor leaguey, and just really paid attention to how we went about business, got away from the free tickets and really focused on promotions and customer service. And we've been successful ever since, each year getting a little bit more successful, but never successful enough to bridge and keep it going from a community ownership point of view. We had, at 1,500 owners of the Syracuse Chiefs, and at no time was we ever able to go to one of those people and give us $1 million to make it through the winter. So we kind of were the redheaded stepchild of International League AAA baseball, just kind of getting by. And it was important to the board of directors to live up to the goals of the team, which is to keep it here in Syracuse, to preserve the shareholder value, to make sure that everything that that comes with AAA baseball, professional baseball for our community, was able to stay right here. So they found the best suitor, and they sold the team to the Wilpon family, the New York Mets, in late December of 2017, actually. And the Community Baseball Club of Central New York is now owned by the New York Mets. And 2018 season, we still had the Washington Nationals on the field. It was the last year that we played under the Chiefs name. And then 2019 was our first season with the New York Mets players on the field. That first year, 2018, both the Mets and the Nationals decided it would just be easier transition to stay where they were, the Mets in Las Vegas, the Nationals in Syracuse, so they could plan where they would eventually end up. The Mets knowing they would end up in Syracuse, and then Nationals having to wait for the affiliation process to play out to see where they would end up. Where they ended up is Fresno, California. So they didn't have to play in the snow anymore, but they had to take a plane everywhere they went. So the travel was a little bit harder in the Pacific Coast League. So the 2019 season was the first year with the Mets on the field. We announced this name of the Syracuse Mets in October of 2018. And the governor of New York came and made a big deal out of it, and the Wilpons were there, and celebrities were there, and baseball players were there. And we made the big unveiling to the blue and orange, to the Syracuse Mets, and it was immediately met with open arms. And I must tell you, as a Syracuse native, as a person that saw the team go from the Chiefs to the Sky Chiefs, and the community not really being super on board with the Sky Chiefs name so much that they found a way to go back to being the Chiefs, and I was very happy of them being the Chiefs. I thought we were going to get lambasted for changing the name of the team from the Chiefs to the Mets, and I could not have been more wrong. The community embraced the Syracuse Mets immediately. Sure, there's some old school holdouts that want to have their old Chiefs logos, which is fine, and will still call us the Chiefs. But from the get-go, the amount of merchandise that was sold, the amount of people that were showing up at the events, everything that we did was just magnified because there's so many more Mets fans, because we're in New York, and it's the Yankees, it's the Mets, it's the Red Sox, and then other than that, nobody cares about any team. We could have been the Miami Marlins for all we care about, but so many more Mets fans than Nationals fans, and it was immediately just took off, and season tickets took off, and flex plans took off, and suites took off, and groups took off, and merchandise sales took off, and it was just amazing. And then we finally played a baseball game in April of 2019. It was a classic Syracuse opening day in April. It was about 42 degrees, 43 degrees. And normally with the Syracuse Chiefs, we would have had 3,000, maybe 4,000 people there. And we had almost 9,000 people on a 40-some degree day. And it was a madhouse, and it was awesome. And we just took off from there. So we had a great season. We had a great season on and off the field. We had a great the Mets committed to sending us a good team. Mr. Wilpon paid for some guys, and we had a bunch of AAA free agents, ex-major leaguers. We had a great squad. We had a great manager and field staff. Tony D was the perfect manager at the perfect time for us, and just did a great job. And after 140 games, because we play 140 games in about 157 days, 156 days, something like that, we were tied with the Scranton Rail Riders, the Scranton Yankees. So after the entire season was done, we were tied and had to have a one-game playoff to play in to go to the playoffs. So we went down to Scranton. It was like, Tuesday afternoon. And there might have been more Syracuse Mets fans there than Scranton Rail Rider fans. I think school was in session, so it was a tough day to host a baseball game. And we were winning the game, and it'll go down as the the worst defeat that I have ever been a part of, and I'm sure that most of our players and our manager would say the same thing. Leading 7-1 in the sixth inning, and they came back to 7-6, and then we took the lead 13-1 after the eighth inning. We had 6 outs to go with a 13-6 lead, and we lost 14-13. and your heart just drops when you lose that game. But it was a successful season. We missed the playoffs. Having guys like Tim Tebow and having major leaguers like Carlos Gomez and Danny Espinosa rather, Raji Davis, a bunch of the Mets guys that were going up and down all season long. The Tyler Bachelors, the Oswalds, the pitchers that were going back and forth. Rene Rivera went up at the end of the year, great catcher. It was a memorable season. And we had 327,000 people to come to the stadium. And what people often forget about or don't think about it is we're about one good sunny weekend or 2 rainouts away from being the #1 attended sports event in the city of Syracuse. Basketball team, men's basketball team, sometimes gets around 400,000. Sometimes they get 380,000. So if we can get a couple good more sunshiny days and a couple more wins, we will become the #1 attended sporting event in the city of Syracuse. So something that my staff has been working hard for, and we're very proud of. And with the other events that we do there, high school baseball, Challenger baseball, beer fests, dog events, United Way events, all kinds of stuff. We have almost 400,000 people that come through community use events and our baseball games. So we had a great season, and it led into a great off season. So as we were getting ready for this coming season, we were going like gangbusters. And I see Howie Hollander, don't forget wiffle ball for the most. So we have wiffle ball at the stadium for the most. And by bringing it to the stadium, we ended up raising $17,000 for the most that day. So we love doing things like that, and wiffle ball is a lot of fun. But going into this season, it was just fantastic. Again, after the first year with the Mets, everything was so good. And then we had such a great season. We had such a fun season. And so season tickets were going even better. And flex plans were going even better. And merchandise was going well. And groups and suites and sponsorship. We were heading for another unbelievable season until March of 2020. And I'm looking back, the first Saturday in March, we always have what we call our open house. People can come get their individual tickets. People buy tickets for opening day. Opening day was about a month away from the season starting. We give tours. We unleash our promotional schedule. We have a great day. And that was just the beginning of all this little coronavirus stuff. And people were just kind of fist bumping and I can't shake your hand. Everybody was kind of joking about it. And then, I remember everybody left, and we have I call it the MRSA machine. It's a disinfecting machine that we keep in the clubhouse. So the guys don't get MRSA or, the flu doesn't spread throughout the clubhouse. So when everybody left, I sprayed the stadium, all our offices and the elevators and all that. And that was March 3rd, March 4th, something like that, whatever that first Saturday was. And by March 13th, we had sent all the staff home to work from home with just myself and Clint Cure, our assistant general manager, and Frank Santoro, one of our accountants, staying at the stadium along with the groundskeeper. Someone's got to mow the lawn. So there was 4 of us in the stadium, and on March 20th, the governor shut the whole thing down, and we went home, and we haven't been back since. And it is the strangest thing that, right up there into March, we thought we were ready for gangbusters, and then, all right, well, now we got to go home, so maybe we'll miss April, and Maybe we'll miss May, but we'll be back by June. And, if you got to miss April and May, I'm not going to lie to anybody, going to baseball games in April and May in Syracuse is a horrible thing to do unless the sun's shining, which is very rare. We were still very optimistic about what was going to take place. And then this thing just kept steamrolling, kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we kept not going to work, and we kept learning more. It's just like everybody here has their own experience with it. This is the year that coronavirus shut us down and is shutting us down. What we know right now, you guys know as much as I do. Whatever you read is what I know. There's no notification from Major League Baseball of what's going to happen, and that's the key to the whole thing, is that we don't get to make up our own mind as to what happens. The players are Major League players. So what first has to happen is Major League Baseball has to decide if they're going to play, when they're going to play, how they're going to play, and then they have to decide if they're going to then have minor league baseball. Are they going to have the whole minor leagues? Are they going to have just AAA? Are they going to do, whatever they're going to do? So we're just really in a waiting game, and I think that all that stuff is being played out in the media right now, and the owners and the players are going back and forth. And once that settles, we'll find out what we're going to do. So what we've been doing since this, and the staff has actually been working. It's kind of unusual, but our work these days is we're all Zoom meetings and making phone calls and lots of emails. But for me, the most important thing for us to do during this, because we can't control any of it, and it's always been our mantra at the Syracuse Chiefs and now Mets, is we can control what we can control. We couldn't control the players. We couldn't control the weather. We didn't get to pick the players, so it didn't matter to us. We always, every year, we set ourselves up to be in last place and to still put on a great show and have a ton of people come out to the ballpark. Now, unfortunately, the history of Syracuse Chiefs, most of the time we were in last place, but still people come out and enjoy a great night at the ballpark. Nobody cares really if we win or lose, between the fireworks and the food and the fun and the antics and the mascots. We get a lot of people out there at the ballpark, so we can control what we can control, which has always been our promotions, our customer service, the cleanliness of the ballpark, and how well we treat people. In this coronavirus, the same rules apply to us. Control what we can control. We don't know when they are going to let us play, so let's stay in touch with our constituents. Let's talk to our season ticket holders. Let's talk to our sponsors. Let's just be calling people. Everyone's locked in their houses. So hopefully some of you people got some phone calls from our staff, and people appreciated that. There were some people that fell through the cracks, and we ended up getting to them. But by staying in touch with our season ticket holders and our sponsors and our groups and our vendors, it's been very important during this time. And they seem to have appreciated that. The other thing that we could control was how we engaged with our fans, and that's really only through social media. So we put a lot of effort into social media. The beginning part was really just talking about the community and getting different bits of information out to our social media fan base of what the county was doing, flattening the curve information, getting out state information, talking about what some of our sponsors were doing as far as, them being open or not open. Information. We partnered with all the hospitals, so getting out a lot of information about the hospitals, and then we just started to interact in different ways with our fans through social media. So we actually had one of our players. We do virtual baseball games. We play the other international league teams on a MLB The Show, which is a video game. And Rene Rivera, who loves playing video games, a great player. He's been in the major leagues and would play with us last year. He loves video games, so we asked him if he would play for us, which he is. So he's playing other members of the front office of the international league teams. He's in first place. He hasn't lost a game. And then sometimes 1,000 people watch a video game of the Syracuse Mets versus the Pawtucket Red Sox on Facebook. So it's different, but we're doing anything we can to provide a little entertainment. We put our pictures of our of our front office staff out as their senior year in high school, just as a little shout out to the local seniors and missing their graduations. And then, this is the way the internet works. Out of nowhere, all these people started putting pictures of their kids that are missing their graduations. They put pictures of themselves, and we reached like 30,000 people, or engaged with like 30,000 people over one silly social media post with pictures of Patrick Taylor from 1952 high school photo or something like that. So it's been different. It's been weird. And it'll definitely be a year that we never forget. I do hope that we get to play some baseball. As the time goes by, it seems to be getting less and less of an option, but it is what it is. Right now at the stadium, which I'll be there tonight actually, construction is going on. There was 2 phases of the construction. Phase 1 was to be ready for opening day this year. Phase 2 is the completed stadium renovation that is going to be ready for opening day 2021. So we would have been ready for opening day 2020, but because of the virus, things got slowed down a little bit, and they're just wrapping up some finishing touches. So all the steel has been painted. The seats are just about all in. They were able to slow down and take their time to put a couple in. So we have all new seats upstairs and downstairs. It's all painted. The fences have been moved in. The bullpens have been put out into the outfield. There's been some things that you wouldn't see, some other stuff to the stadium that you just wouldn't see. Been some signage that'll be done. And essentially that's phase 1. And then phase 2 is going out to bid, and we're right on schedule for that. And then that is a new Hank Sauer room, a new banquet room at the end of the facility, a new party deck, a new bar area over in left field, renovate all the suites, more paint, more signage, a ton more stuff that you never see, redo all of the ADA compliant seating, make the entrance down in right field a little easier, more welcoming, a little bit more easy to get around the stadium. Basically, all the improvements are to help the infrastructure of the stadium. She's been there for about 24 years, and she's in good shape because the county has maintained it well. But, the air conditioners and the boilers and things like that need some work. The stuff that nobody sees, elevators need some tune-ups, etc. And the rest are fan amenities to make sure that the fans have a better time at the stadium. So new seats, some drink rails, some berm areas, some four-top seating elements behind the stadium, behind the home plate rather. Easier ways to get in. There'll be some improvements to the concession stands, and it's going to be exciting. So when everybody sees it next season, it'll be fully done, and it will be a significant upgrade to what you're used to at historic NBT Bank Stadium, and I'm looking forward to playing this year. But without that, I'm looking forward to opening in 2020-21 with a brand new stadium, a brand new team, and I've been a whole year without baseball at that point. So it will be a fantastic opening day. So thank you for letting me come and give you a little bit of an update.